talk about the Lean Canvas business model. In the past sessions, we talked about the jobs to be done, the mindset, we talked about business models, and today we're going to talk about the tool called the Lean Canvas, which is going to be the basis for us moving forward. If you remember, we talked about the entrepreneurial method where we document our business model, pretty much take what's in our head, put it in a one page of paper that kind of is our executive summary. Then we prioritize our assumptions and go out and test. Well, the tool that we can use to document our business model is called the Lean Canvas. It's one of the leading tools to do this and one that we teach here at Sac State. And this is all it is. It's one page and it has 9 different boxes. We're going to go through each one of these in detail in different videos over the next week to 2 weeks. The most important boxes are the ones on the 2 edges, the customer segment and the problem box. Some of you might actually have a social impact or a nonprofit solution. So instead of customer segments, you might want to cross that out and put beneficiaries or stakeholders. The rest of the boxes are pretty much the same. And in your unique value proposition section, you can also include your vision or mission, solving homelessness, literacy, education, clean water, whatever it might be. And on your revenues and streams, you can also put impact. What is it you're doing besides making money and profit? As we look at our Lean Canvas, the 2 areas on the right, as I mentioned, are the most important, which is why they're color-coded. We can actually not worry about the rest of the gray boxes for now until we figure out really who our customers are, what problem they have, and then we can move forward with our solution. We actually call this the Leaner Canvas when all we do is focus on these 2 boxes. And this is where you're going to start filling out your Lean Canvas. Throughout the rest of the videos, your goal and homework is to fill out your entire Lean Canvas as we move through each video. The very first box is our customer segment. We always want to start with customers. Who are our large customer bases? Keep it simple, keep it high level, because you want to have enough people in this customer segment to put a large dollar number next to it so that you actually have a large target market to go after. An example here could be homeowners, coffee drinkers, automobile, EV owners. So keep it simple to start with. Then we want to move to the sub box in customer segments, our early adopters. This actually is the most important box on the entire sheet, even though it's very small. Why it's so important is because these are the people who are going to buy your offerings initially. Early adopters are people that we'll talk about in a minute that have significant pain. They don't like their current solution. They're looking for something better. They have money to put towards a new offering. Something has changed. As we talked about last time, maybe it's a triggering event that has caused them to have a bad experience. We need to have a subcategory of your current customer target market that is very specific on what is their job to be done that's not getting done correctly, what has changed, what are their jobs, one or more of these things that are causing them to switch so we can identify them and target them first. Let's go through an example with Starbucks, and we will use the Starbucks example throughout the rest of the videos. So initially, Starbucks targeted coffee drinkers here under the customer segment. When they first started in the 1970s and 80s, it was just about coffee drinkers. Over time, as we know it today, Starbucks also caters towards people who drink teas, and they also cater to grocery and restaurant because they sell their beans to grocery outlets and restaurants as well. Within those customer segments, there were several specific groups that Starbucks first targeted as early adopters. Those were people who brewed coffee at home and coffee lovers in Seattle. That's where Starbucks started. So they weren't trying to target everybody in the world who drank coffee, only those people in Seattle who really loved coffee and were probably brewing it at home themselves. Why is this so important for us to target early adopters? Well, because the majority of people in your target market are not going to buy your stuff. The only people that are going to buy your initial offerings, products, or services are in this red box, the early adopters and innovators. Those are the people, again, raising their hand saying, I have a problem, I need a better solution. They're looking for something better. The rest of the market doesn't see enough pain in the current way that they're doing stuff to see a need for changing yet. That usually takes 2 or 3 years. So we want your offerings to focus on who these early adopters are. Remember, we talked about early adopters are people that have experienced a switching trigger. Again, this is important to go back to our slide from last week. Who are these people? What's changed? Maybe it is a micro event like an experience or a circumstance, or a macro event like COVID that made us all change how we work, go online, Zoom, etc. So think about the customer forces model that we used last week. Your superpower, anchoring against problems in the old way. You need to understand what has triggered this customer to become an early adopter looking for a better desired outcome and job to be done. What has happened? Here are some examples of other early adopters. This is a picture of the very first iPhone being released in San Francisco, the Apple Store. As you remember, people waited in line, they camped out overnight. These people are early adopters. They were young, technology savvy folks who lived in San Francisco. That's who Apple was targeting with the initial iPhone. I was not one of those. I didn't get an Apple until iPhone 6. I used my BlackBerry until then. So I was not an early adopter that they were targeting. So who are the people that you know that might have been here? Maybe you're one of those, waited in line, you were a techie person in the city, camping out to get the latest iPhone. Here's another example closer to home for you. In this picture, we see someone maybe in an assisted living facility. You have a nurse there, caregiver taking care of someone, but maybe something has changed. They just moved into this new facility. Now they have a change in circumstance. The elder is now in the home. What about the adult children? Are there issues they need to worry about, change in their circumstance? Or maybe they've had a bad experience and they just moved mom to a new assisted living facility because the one before it had bad ratings, she wasn't happy. So what has changed in the gerontology, geriatric care space in this instance to cause you to find out what the early adopter is looking for? What job do they want to get done better? There are always new things to look for, new jobs to be done, and there are plenty of opportunities in the gerontology space that we'll talk about in subsequent videos. Thanks for listening. Have a great day. Take care.